daily guides. These, of course, are for May 2025. My Toastmasters meeting, or one of my Toastmasters meetings, the one I attend on Thursdays, I actually gave a talk about what I've been doing for the last 5 years. And I got some good feedback, some of which I'm going to try and implement. One of them, which I have to figure out how to do, is to show a transcription, which effectively will print out the words as I'm speaking them. I know I can do it. It's just that I use software. I don't go directly onto Facebook. I use software called Streamlabs Studio in order to broadcast to different Facebook and other settings all at once. However, I don't know how to do it right now, so I've got to go back in and figure it out. I'm a bit of a techie, so I will figure it out. Anyway, here is today's reading. I've got some other good feedback about my background. As you can see, it's our office, and I was given background about, well, maybe you should hide some of that. We will. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Anyway, to the point. Today's reading is called Let Nature Be Your Teacher. And the first quote is from Lao Tzu, who is the famous Chinese, very well-known Chinese. I'm thinking about how to say this best. Lao Tzu is a character from Chinese history who is well known in a lot of circles. Did the real person exist, or is he a compilation, or she a compilation of other people? We really don't know, because it was a long time ago. But let's assume there was a Lao Tzu, and this is what this person, Lao Tzu, said. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Ernest Holmes, talking about nature, said, nature will not let us stay in one place for too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. And this is our writer, Diana, who says, we learn so much from observing nature. If we pay attention when we're outside, we may hear songbirds trilling, you will hear crows croaking, yes, sometimes in the ear, small critters rustling in search of food, yes, if you're quiet, and coyotes howling as evening descends. Probably not, but some parts of the woodlands, yeah, you could. She says, even if we live in urban areas, there are likely birds nesting above the building eaves, squirrels bounding towards trees, yep, they're everywhere, and perhaps even coyotes taking up residence in parks and on golf courses. Yep, they do. It goes on to say, while a lot of activity takes place in nature, watching these goings on feels peaceful and soothing. Just looking up to observe a blue sky with a few clouds drifting by, this can be an incredibly calming experience, reminding us that there is a wide, vast expanse beyond the busyness that occupies our minds. Environmental activist and author of Silent Spring, Rachel Carson wrote, there's something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature. The assurance that dawn comes after the night, and that spring comes after winter. Spending time in nature, watching the birds, the squirrels, the butterflies, and the clouds also helps us become more fully aware of the present moment. Additionally, she says, I believe that, like Ernest Holmes, that nature teaches us about the unfolding advancement of the soul. By paying attention to the natural world, we gain insights into our own lives, and we understand better how intimately connected we are to the fabric of the whole of life. She ends with a quote from William Wordsworth, who wrote, come forth into the light of things, let nature be your teacher. We hear a lot about nature. Why? Because it's part of what we are. We're not separate from it. We are part of it. And when we sit back and experience it, it's really good and common for the soul. Wordsworth actually was born at a time when he is around at the time when the Industrial Revolution was taking full flight in Britain and then ultimately around the world. And he and a lot of his romantic poet colleagues wrote about nature. Why? Because nature was being despoiled. These big, massive factories were being built. People were being brought from the countryside to work in these towns that were expanding all the time. I grew up in one, which was in the 12th century, was just like a village in the middle of hills. It's an extremely hilly area where the church actually goes back about 1200 years. And then during the Industrial Revolution, because of cotton, they built all these cotton mills there, and the place became despoiled. They're trying to bring it back to normal, but when I grew up, it was still pretty dingy in a lot of places. So Wordsworth and a lot of the other poets wrote about nature and about how it was being despoiled and how we need to start taking care of it. And the message is still going on now. You know, as human beings, we haven't learned how to balance our industrial stuff with our natural stuff. We tend to either shoot off in one direction or the other. You know, we dismiss nature and everything else, and we just say the economy is all important. And on the other hand, people often throw out the economy and they just want to bring everything back to nature again. Well, we've advanced so long. I don't know if the word advanced is right. We've moved so long in the direction of industrialization, technology, and so on, that I think we need balance. You know, I like technology. I like a lot of things about the modern world, and I like a lot of things about nature. So I think part of my job is to try and promote balance, balance in how we look at the world as a whole. So that is my message for today. As I said, I got some good feedback. I'm going to figure out how to do the transcriptions because I did notice that when I watched the podcast again today, getting critiqued at our Toastmasters meeting, that some of my words were not extremely clear. I don't know if that's just the way I speak or if it's because of my accent, but I did notice these things. I also noticed that I don't think I look at the camera enough. It's a balancing act when you're doing a lot of reading. However, the camera actually is right on top of the monitor, so it's not where I'm looking at myself. The temptation is to look at myself, and then I'm not looking at the camera. So I'm doing my best to speak more clearly, to figure out how to do the transcriptions, to figure out how to do a live chat as we go along, and also to continue to look at the camera. And let's see how this goes. I'm going to look at this again and see how that works. So, what's the affirmation down here? I allow myself to experience the healing powers of nature. I allow myself to experience the healing powers of nature. And with that, I'm going to ring off. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be back at 5. Reverend Lisa will be here tomorrow. Oh, here. She will be on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. I keep forgetting this goes out to a whole bunch of others. At 5:30 p.m. Central Time, Creative Life Spiritual Center, Facebook, and there it goes. And I think she put some of the stuff on YouTube as well. Until next time, please take care of yourselves. I'm just knowing the highest and best for every person who watches this and your extended families, your extended friends, your pets. And I am knowing the highest and best for this world as a whole, every person, every being in it, and the planet itself. So until next time, namaste.